You'll get some bigger prices out of the handicap.
I think the Albert Bartlett is a bit more interesting though, because Barters Hill is very much the Dom Poli of the hurdle world. Joe, Barters Hill is as slow as you when it's your round, really.
In reverse.
I'm not shy in going to the hip match.
I said to Joe, and I still haven't had a drink tonight myself, so if you think you're suffering...
Neither is everybody else.
Yeah.
Kealy and I are gagging for a pint of Guinness if there's anyone near the bar, by the way.
I said to Joe, can I just have a Coke? And he said, I'll have a word with Rich. That's how it got to trying to get a drink out of Chambers. Still, if you can, stuff it on the boss's tab, then you might as well.
I would never do that.
Joe, who do you fancy here?
I want to be against Barters Hill. I think his worst performance was when he went up in trip at Doncaster the last day. I get all the comments about him being idle, but I don't think his hurdling has improved throughout the season whatsoever. And without trying to take the side of the home team all the time, and I'm trying not to, I think Thomas Hobson has a little bit of flat class, and he's got a lot more racing experience than an awful lot of others. I think he could rattle him.
But he can't jump, Joe.
And he can actually. If you look at Warwick, Matt, if you look at the Warwick race, and I know it was on
I've looked at all these races.
No,
Joe.
Matt, I know it was on Racing UK, and you don't see that because you're on at the races. He winged.
It's hard to argue that one, isn't it?
He winged the 5 down the back, and he was just bone idle up the home straight under Danny, who Rich absolutely loves riding his horses all the time.
I have got the free streaming though, and I have managed to watch it. So
I think Hobson will run a big race. I'm not saying he'll win. I think he'll run a big race. If JP decides or allows Willie to run Blue A Rouge in this race over 3 miles, he's a complete out and out stayer, as he demonstrated the last day in the Grade 1. I think he'll run. He'd be my one. I think at 12s, 14s, whatever he is today, I don't know what he is now. I think Blue A Rouge is a serious price. He works very well at home. He's beginning to demonstrate it on the racetrack. And I think if you want to be against Barters Hill, it won't be a wily horse over 3 miles in a novice hurdle for once this year. I think it could be a JP one in Blue A Rouge.
Rich, obviously Long Dog could be in here, but if you could own any of these, is the one you would love to see in the pink of the misses?
I'm with Joe. I'd be happy to take Barters Hill on. I think Thomas Hobson will run a huge race. He, like the aforementioned Mrs. Ricci, he's mad, does his own thing, and doesn't listen to anybody else. So I think that the way he's ridden is interesting, because they say that they just have to let him do his own thing in hurdles. And while he jumps some brilliantly, but when he comes down to the last, he's having to think, they let him do it. They don't try to ride him into it. When they try to ride him into it, he stops. So I think Thomas Hobson has a great chance each way. I won't tip my horses all night. I'd back the Anworth in the last race. I would back him. But I think Thomas Hobson run a huge race. And I think Barters Hill would be the one I'd take on of the novice favorites.
Okay. In normal circumstances, the obvious thing... Well, actually, no, let's just get final selections before I go on to the next race. Paul, Kealy?
I think Shanty Village has got a terrific chance. I think he was the first horse beat when he ran against Jamworth last time, and he just stayed and stayed and stayed. That was on heavy ground. He wants decent ground, which is what he's going to get. He wants 3 miles. Nearly all of Shanty's horses are proof of going up in trip. He's a cracking bet against the favourite, who I don't think will handle the track, because he's going to make mistakes running up and downhill.
Running up and downhill will be no good. Joe, you're a man who doesn't like running up and down hills as well, but who do you fancy here?
If Blue A Rouge turns up in this race, I'd really fancy him at double-figure prices.
Okay, big if there. Rich?
Thomas Hobson each way.
Thomas Hobson, and I'm with the fat boy. I like Shantou Village here. I think he's gagging for good ground, and he's gagging for the longer trip, and I think everything will be absolutely right with him.